Now I have the pleasure of announcing the next opening keynote for this summit from another great speaker from the world of politics. Please welcome Parliamentary State Secretary to the Federal Minister of Education and Research, Mario Brandenburg.
Yes, hello, good morning, everybody. Mr. Buschmann, and thanks for Bitkom for the invitation, Mrs. Jannik, and as well greetings from my minister, Bedina Stark-Watzinger, who would indeed have loved basically to do that by herself, but she's really, as of now, sitting in the Committee for Education and Research and basically answering questions of the opposition. And I've got the joy to spend my morning here with you and to listen to the enlightening speeches. And therefore, I'm double happy to share some thoughts with you. So from AI to quantum, since basically we are here to discuss all of these topics, building ecosystems, empowering innovation, and strengthen sovereignty. So within 9 minutes, I think these are easy 3 things to cover within the rest of my 9 minutes, but nevertheless, I want to touch on them. Let's start in reverse order. Sovereignty, I don't want to spend too much on it because that's the discussion basically of our time right now. And as well, Marco mentioned a piece of sovereignty within justice and within our law system. And if we talk quantum or if we talk AI, then as a federal government, we have to talk together because sovereignty starts way earlier. The European Chips Act was mentioned already, so I'm as well in charge of that one, which at the beginning did not include quantum, but now includes quantum as well. That's a piece of sovereignty. Coming up with a decent raw material strategy is another flavor of talking about sovereignty. So since we are only here only for AI and quantum parts, it really starts earlier, and this is the point I want to make on it, that we as a federal government, together with BMWK and all the other ministries are really working together to get it from scratch in layers, starting from a raw material perspective with all the joy of PFAS and all these things at the horizon, but really to get us covered, to strengthen our robust industry sector, because in the end, this is a game changer, because this is something not every country has on the playfield. And coming to quantum later, seeing that all the quantum censorships and all the technology surrounding like lasers and stuff, so we really, really have to take care that our robust industry sector basically will be supported by us as a government. So starting real quick with a not really fair comparison. So if I ask ChatGPT for quantum, I'll get a decent answer. If I ask Sycamore to use AI right now, probably there is nothing coming out of it. So as it was mentioned, it's not really fair from the technology maturity level right now, but AI had basically the killer moment with, I would say, the B2C killer moment, really having ChatGPT coming to our smartphone, touching us as humans on the language part. It's a large language model. This is why we react so tough on what this little chat thing is doing to us. And therefore, it's really easy at the moment to talk about AI, but quantum still is tough because we all wait for that whatever it is, device, algorithm, and really coming up being the B2C thing to first advance it. And I want to spend my last couple of minutes on seeing or comparing the ecosystem and explaining how we, as the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, want to and foster spillover effects. So you see on the map on the left-hand side, these are our centers of excellence, which I had the joy to visit all in summer. I was announcing to do it. Then there was no map in my background when I told to do so. If you really have to visit all of them, it takes you a week, I can tell you that, and lots of time in buses, planes, cars, and whatever it needs. And on the other hand side, you can see the professorships in Germany. So we started with 100. Now we are up to 150. So we put 50 more on top because this is the talent pipeline, the talent funnel. We need basically to get more talent around to get it going. Since I don't have too much time and I want to go to quantum, and I will stay in time, so don't be scared for the further plannings. I'm not a minister, I'm not allowed to talk for as long as I want to. So coming to the AI part, we announced our action plan If you follow our quantum activities, so there first was the so-called Rahmenprogramm, and then we came to the Handlungskonzept, which is an action plan. And we were discussing if we need a new AI strategy within government, but the truth is, if we now, 2 years left, start to come up with a new strategy, the moment we agree who is in the lead, the 2 years are over, and this is why we said, let's start with us. Let's look for action items, for really concrete things we can do, you can measure, and we can execute. So one thing I was telling you, we had 100 professorships, we added 50, so that's the thing, pushing for more talent, it's easy, and we can do it. There are more things coming up, so basically using AI by ourselves. Mr. Buschmann, Marco made that point. This is really something we have to do. We have bright people in our ministry, but they write strategies how to use AI, and in their daily work life, ChatGPT is blocked. You know, that's not really how it can work. These people need to be empowered to use all of it as well. And I mean, yeah, we can discuss if it's blocked and can you really block it, but nevertheless, it's state documents, so we don't want to feed it with it. So there's luckily, Baden-Württemberg was mentioned, Jonas was already mentioned. There is a solution to it, but we have to start to use it by ourselves, just for the sake of being fair to the people working in the public sector, to have as attractive workplaces as they might have at Microsoft or any other companies out there. Jumping to quantum in my 4 minutes left, you can see there is as well an ecosystem going on. Surely it's a bit of a clustering there. We have the Munich area, we have Berlin, it's Jülich, Stuttgart area, and the many colors you can see. This is basically, is it done by academia, small, medium businesses, is it industry? And surely it all started with academia in that sense, because quantum as well has a legacy. But you can see there is lots of interaction, and that's really what we need, because we are still waiting for that, whatever it is, B2B or maybe it even be B2C moment for quantum to kick off. And this is why we as a ministry at the moment try to somehow preserve a playground for many, many things. I've mentioned the enabling technologies. It's laser, it's for sure chips again, but it's middleware technology as well. So quantum as well means software. And having more middleware technologies brings it closer to the customers, or basically to the companies, making them able to use it. This is why we as well heavily invest in, I would say, surrounding technologies. The outreach, important. Maybe not as important as with AI, because there are at least not yet any horror stories of quantum computers going wild or something, but nevertheless we have to inform people that there is something on the horizon. Marco mentioned cryptography and many other things, so we have to talk early about people. That's what we do with things like the quantum escape room, which I learned about, so there's really fancy things going on where you can explore and trying to get the idea of superpositions and everything. The educational part, that's one I wanted to mention, and then I'll finish it with a concrete project we are doing. The educational part is super important. I had the joy to be a jury member at the Quantum Future Academy. It's hosted every year. This year we hosted it together with Israel. So it was 15 German students and 15 Israeli students together, 1 week in Israel, 1 week in Germany, and at the end they had to come up and pitch a virtual quantum startup idea. And I had the joy to be in the jury with the ambassador and looking at these bright minds and bright smiling faces doing that, and as well with Germany and Israel, that's something special. You really could see that, coming back to the first thing, the serenity part, it's not only a technical discussion, it's as well a discussion with whom we want to be at the table, with whom we want to discuss and with whom we want to share. And this is something why we are deeply convinced as a ministry to spend money on that, to spend money on exchange, to spend money on building networks early, because those will hopefully be these nice lines, and they are surely international. I only have the German map here, and this is really of our deep interest to strengthen the educational part. Since there's only 1 minute left, let's come to a concrete project, Kai2, because that's a nice example. If you basically read out the names, BMW, Mercedes, Bosch, so there is really the top of the shelf. For sure, it's an automotive example, because we are Germans, that's the examples we do, automotive industry. No, but without joking around, what they try to fix and try to solve, is basically the navigational carpooling and routing system, because it's super complex if you really think about if you're not only Uber, but you're the system. You really want to add taxis, you really want to add all the car sharing providers, and you really want to find out how this works. As of today, at least as I know, quantum computing is still not fully capable and powerful enough to solve it. But nevertheless, this is basically the knowledge, the information we need to gather, we need to build, because if this comes to reality, this might be the ChatGPT moment for mobility, and therefore it's important for Ministry of Education and Research to be early in that, to invest. And so this is the point I wanted to make. We are on your side. We try to empower you all as good as we can, and therefore really thank you for your work. And luckily I can stand at least a little bit further, and I will have a walk around. I already find some posters which I have to check out. So really thank you for having me. It was 30 seconds too much, but I guess compared to Marco, it was still a good performance. Thank you so much.